Good morning. Welcome to the live stream. Today is Saturday, August 22nd. How's it going? Oh, one moment, please. This is like my first time talking today. I need to like start warming up my voice or something before I go live. Anyhow, how's it going as I quickly finish setting up? How's it going? My name is Angela. I'm a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I'm really looking forward to today because we are setting up an Express server, which is like I've been saying pretty much since the day I started this channel, I want to set up an Express server. So I have a place to hide API keys, and I have lots of third-party, well, lots, maybe a handful of third-party APIs in mind that I want to very specifically start implementing. Number one, starting with Instagram. So the goal today is to get that figured out locally, which is a little bit tricky because you have to give Meta, it's really Meta, right? You have to give Meta like a URL to allow the domain name where the key is used, and it doesn't take like localhost. So we're gonna figure it out. There's supposed to be a way around it. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. ChatGPT was trying to walk us through it briefly last weekend. So we got to see if we can do this. So give me a moment here while I pull up Facebook and Facebook developer. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Meta, hang on. So Meta developer. Meta for developers. So here's what we're going to do today. Join us September 23rd and 24th for Meta Connect. No, we're not going to do that. We need to get things working. So here's the thing. I've sort of weighed the pros and cons. Luckily, I don't have a very big audience. I've weighed the pros and cons of exposing my actual Meta API key, and I decided for the purposes of the stream, it's not a big deal. And then after the stream, or honestly, once we get the Express part of the setup, I'll go ahead and switch out the API key. If there were hundreds of people watching here at the same time, I probably wouldn't take that approach. But again, I'm going to switch out the API key either as we set up the Express server or immediately after the stream, so I'm not super worried about it. If anything happens during the stream, we'll just deal with it. It's not a big deal. We're all here to learn together, right? So we'll probably want to go to my apps. The first thing that we have to do before we set up the Express server is we have to have a working API from Instagram. That's the first thing. And these are past projects. How much you want to bet Express app feed? So these are old client projects, like 10 years old client projects. Still art. Yeah, this is an old client project too, like San Diego old. Hold please. Uno momento. This is obviously me. This is something that I set up. I think that this is what I tried to set up maybe 2 years ago when I briefly attempted to do this. And this is where I figured out, oh, Instagram is not going to give me like a key, is going to make this difficult for me to do locally. But you know what we can do? We can at least get the key and get something working in Postman, right? You can't set up an Express app till you actually see the API anyways. So what's going on here in this alert box? I don't know if any of this applies to me. Okay. Dashboard. Customize the manage messaging and content on Instagram use case. I don't know what that means. Okay, so here it is. So this, I will avoid showing the secret to you all. This is right here, the callback. Configure webhooks. Configure a custom webhook URL or use services that help you set up an endpoint. To receive webhooks, your app must be in a published state. It's not. How do you work locally? I don't understand how you work locally with some of these things. Okay, do we have to ask for help? Okay. Okay, I'm going to set up an API endpoint for my Instagram feed. I'm logged into Meta Developer. I created an app and I have the keys. Add the listed content management and messaging permissions to create, publish, and manage content and respond directly to messages. So I think this is for sending requests back to Instagram, right? Which I'm not doing that. Generate access tokens. Add an Instagram account to generate access tokens and set up webhook subscriptions. Before proceeding, make sure to assign the Instagram tester role to the account in the roles tab. So I think I have to add my account. Okay, so let me log into my account. We're gonna figure this out. Okay, so I'm logged in on this screen to my account. Tokens can only be generated for public Instagram accounts. Got it. Okay. Hang on. This I'll do privately. Okay, two-factor authentication. That's how we stay safe. We add friction, people. We add friction. That's how you stay safe on the web, for the most part. Okay. Hang on. You need a professional Instagram account to connect Instagram to a professional account gives you access to, okay, so I thought I had a professional account. I guess I'm changing. Which best describes you? Creator. Next. Best for public figures, content producers, artists, and influencers. I guess I'm a content producer. Okay. Good grief. Okay. I have to pick a category. I'm gonna go with personal blog. I don't really sell anything on Instagram. And I am officially switching to a professional account, which they've been asking me to do forever. And I was like, well, I don't know why I need to do that. I guess I know why. Okay, and now I'm getting insufficient developer role. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, let's try this again. I felt like I was being so clever by doing this on stream. In hindsight. Maybe I should have done it separately. Here's what I'm getting when I try to connect my account. Insufficient developer role. Insufficient developer role. Do I need to like refresh something? Why won't you let me connect my account? What does this mean? I guess we're gonna ask the master, huh? A couple of screenshots. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out together. Hang on. We'll show this to, let me finish this message to ChatGPT, show him the screenshots, and then I will look at the chat because I know there's people in the chat. Give me one moment, please. Okay, I'm going to set up an API endpoint for my Instagram feed. I'm logged into Meta Developer. I created an app and I have the keys. I'm trying to connect my account, which is a business account, but I'm getting this error. Okay, let's see here what's happening. One moment. We'll go over to the chat. There we go. And Michael is here. Good morning, Michael. Michael is the first one in the chat today. Stampsack is here and says, good morning. What are we teaching today? I've watched your videos and they cover HTML, CSS, and JavaScript fundamentals. I'm just starting out and learning as I go. Well, welcome. Thank you. Because I'm practicing front-related language skills as a future approach. I also use two AIs, ChatGPT and Gemini. Yeah, you mentioned I think last week that you like Gemini. And Learner is here and says, what are we working on here? We are setting up an Express server to hide our Instagram API key to not expose it because I want to start adding real Instagram feeds to my sites. And I obviously don't want to expose my API key. Yeah, so we're going to get this working with an Express server. But honestly, I've been wanting to set up an Express server for a long time. That's been kind of like on my to-do list. To be clear, I've set up many Express servers in my time, but not for this specifically, which is just something that I've been meaning to do. And one of the reasons that I just never got around to really figuring out how to do it is that it's very difficult to do locally because Meta does not like localhost as a callback URL. So we have to like find a way around that, which I know there is. Okay. So let's go back here. And GPT says that error is almost certainly about the Meta app rule, not about your Instagram account being a business account. Your second screenshot usually actually gives the clue. Before proceeding, make sure to assign the Instagram tester role to the account in the roles tab. I don't know what that means. So Meta knows the app exists, but when Instagram gets the OAuth request, it does not consider the Instagram user you're logging in with to be authorized to use this app while still in development. You need to add your Instagram account as a tester user for this app first. In the Meta developer dashboard, go to, okay, let's do this at the same time. We're going to figure this out. In the Meta developer dashboard, go to permissions and features. Apps roles. I don't know where that is. Hang on. App roles. Okay, can you just show me where to change this? In the Meta developer dashboard, where? Where? Is our app? App roles, right here. Okay. Rules. Depending on the version of Meta's UI you have, this may be under something like app role. Okay. So here's me. So I must have to add, hang on. Add the Instagram, okay. Depending on which version of Meta's UI you have, this may be under something like app roles, or roles testers, or Instagram testers. Add the Instagram account you want to connect. Create test, wait, so do I add it here? Okay, what am I adding? Where am I adding? There's like, this is the other thing that I don't like about ChatGPT is that it will give me a long list of instructions, and often I don't get past step 1. And then everything past it is like I can't even look at it. It's not applicable because we never even got past step 1. Where do I add the test rule? Let's do this. We need a little side-by-side action. We're gonna figure this out. I was really looking forward to this today. So I really want to get this figured out. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now. Okay. I think we can see this now. Okay. Right there. Click more, the more drop down. Okay. You're currently seeing, okay. You're currently seeing the main role categories. Click more, choose Instagram testers. Enter the Instagram username for the business account. Okay, hang on. Instagram testers. Add a tester. Okay. So it's Angela J. Holden. No. A Facebook, wait a second. Okay, Instagram tester. Here we go. Oh, stop. Stop it. This, finally. Okay, right there. I think that's the right account. That looks like the right photo. Okay, Instagram tester. Instagram users can manage invitation in the apps and website section of the profile. Okay, why is it pending? Do I have to like accept this someplace? Like, oh, hang on, let me check my Instagram account. What's happening? This is so stressful. I'm not getting like a notification. Oh, no, I don't have a notification in Instagram. Let me see if I got an email. No. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, click add people, enter the Instagram username. After adding it, we'll need to go into Instagram and accept the invitation. Okay, I need to go into Instagram and accept the invitation. Where? Account center. Manage accounts. Manage. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's take a picture. Great, done. I'm in my IG account, but I don't see where to accept anything. Instagram hides the acceptance screen in a pretty unintuitive place. Okay, well, I'm on Instagram.com, so let's see here. Go to settings and activity website permissions. Settings. What's happening? Instagram is like not doing anything. Come on. There we go. Okay. Website permissions. Okay. Apps and websites. Tester invite. Accept. It's actually here. I'm accepting it. Okay. 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 I think this means we're good. We're good. I accepted it. Once you accept it, refresh the meta developer app roles page. That orange pending badge should disappear. Then go back to use cases, Instagram, generate access tokens, add account, and try the connection again. Okay, let's go back to use cases. So far, so good. Manage, okay. See, I can't see anything. Can you always show this? Thank you. Use cases, come on. Let's go. Let's go. I ain't got all day. Okay, here we go. Then go back to use cases, Instagram, generate access tokens, add account, and try the connection again. I don't think we need to. I think this is our account right here. So it's added. Okay, so it's added. So I think it's added. Yes. Okay. The important change is that your Instagram account now appears under generate access tokens with the account ID underneath it and a generate token link. That means the tester role OAuth problem is resolved. Your next step is to click generate token. Meta may make you authenticate or confirm permissions again. Then it should give you an Instagram access token. For the API endpoint you're building, you can ignore configure webhooks for now unless you specifically want push notifications when something changes. For a feed endpoint that fetches your own media, the token is the piece we need next. And don't paste the token into chat once Meta gives it to you. Put it directly into your local.env, something like this. Then we can wire the express route around it. Okay, so let me tell ChatGPT that I'm live streaming right now and see what it thinks of that. Okay, I'm streaming right now. I want to see my IG feed in Postman first. Otherwise, how do I know what I'm building? Also, is that safe? I can change the token after the stream. There's like 7 people watching right now. Yes, that's exactly what I do first. Prove the API call works in Postman before building the Express wrapper. And yes, it's reasonably safe to do on stream as long as you do not display the access token. With 7 viewers, the risk is obviously lower than broadcasting to thousands, but the token should still be treated like a password. In Postman, create a GET request to this, add these query params. So conceptually, the request is this. Better for streaming, put the token in a Postman environment variable instead of typing it into the request URL. Got it. So let me go ahead and do that. Then create a Postman environment variable named Instagram access token. Okay, we know how to do that. So let's get our Postman set up. Isn't this fun? We're having fun, right? I'm having so much fun. Okay. So let's make a new collection. And we'll do collection. We're going to call it Instagram. And we're going to create a variable. And the variable is called Instagram access token. And here's the part that I'm going to do privately. I'm going to do this part privately. So bear with me. And it's asking me to authenticate again. Okay. I understand. Copy. Okay. Why it just disappeared. Okay, and now it's there. Okay, we're so close. We're so close. I'm also going to make a copy of this and like stick it in my notes privately. Bear with me. Okay, I have that tucked away. Done. Okay, so we have our token now. Let's go back here. And I'm so sorry. I have really bad allergies today. Hold one moment. Okay, so I have our variable, our Instagram access token saved. So let's go ahead and add this get request. So we're going to we're going to add a request. And I'm just going to call this IG. I'm going to put in sorry, are you not, why aren't you putting in the full thing? Okay, can you, okay, so this is the key, these are the values. So you're getting all the fields as one value, okay. And then our access token is, what is it? It's the Instagram. I have to do this. Oh, thanks for exposing that, Postman. Appreciate that. Okay, well, I did say that I was going to change it after the stream, so. All right. Thank God. Okay. This worked. People, we have an API. Caption, due to financial reasons. It's my attempt at being silly. Okay, so we're getting back, how many, is it saying how many we're getting back? Oh, look at that. We've got pagination. Next. It doesn't say how many items. Well, it's probably everything. Let's look at one of our other things here and grab our script. Where's our post response? Here's our script. Okay, let's see if we can get ChatGPT to write us a little script. Let's save this. I'm just going to call this initial IG response. Save that in our Instagram collection. Okay, I don't need this. Okay. So here's the data. Everything is inside data. We have these objects. So we have the caption, the media type video. So that would be like a reel. The URL, which is, I guess, it's the video because it's a video, right? So I don't want the videos. I want what do I want? I just want posts. So let's ask if we can just get the posts. That's all that I want. I'm not going to embed reels, although it's kind of nice to know that I have that option. My reels are nothing to write home about. So, and Learner says, I thought you were a front-end developer. I am a front-end developer, Learner. What exactly are you implying? You think just because I've never set up an Instagram API, I'm not a front-end developer? Come on. And Malik Robinson says, I've been here. I just forgot to type in chat. I was coding. No worries. Malik and Monique are the mods in the chat today. So, okay. Yep. Here's our data. That response is what you want to inspect before you write anything. You'll immediately see the actual object shape. One important live stream things, do not open the Postman environment editor while sharing your screen if it exposes the token. That ship sailed. Also avoid putting the token directly in the URL. Yeah, I got it. And yes, given that you're doing this live, I'll rotate it when I'm done. So this is, okay. How do I just return, I really want to just return media type equals. Is that an option if I just do media type equals photo? How do I just get photos? I mostly carousel album. Okay. Video. Image. Media type image. Let's see if we can do media type image. Let's see if we just get those. I don't think so. Maybe that's what we'll have to do with our Express app. Yeah. How do I just return media type equals image? You can't filter me/media by media type as a query parameter. Ask Instagram for media type, then filter the returned array yourself. So keep the request like this with this, then eventually in your Express endpoint, just get the media type image. So that's exactly how this is another great reason why using Express is so good for this. I mean, if you weren't worried about exposing your API key, you could just do this with JavaScript, which is exactly what we're going to do. But we can do this at the same time, right? We hide the API key, we set up a CORS policy, we do rate limiting, and we only return exactly what we need from the API. If you're just exploring in Postman right now, I'd actually leave all media types in the response. You want to see what Instagram gives you for image, video, and carousel album before deciding what your API should return. That will tell you whether your eventual endpoint should literally be images only, or whether you want to normalize all Instagram posts into one useful feed shape. And honestly, that's a good point too, because maybe a month from now, we'll decide to create an endpoint just for videos, just for the reels, right? So, okay. So now we have exactly what we need. We can delete this because it didn't work. So now we have exactly what we need. I have the access token, which I have tucked away here. Let's open up VS Code and get started. So we'll start a project. So this is going to be our Express server. So we'll open this up. I haven't done an Express server in a couple of years. So this is going to be partly getting help from ChatGPT, but also is there any reason why we can't just look at the documentation? I'm going to say no, there's no reason why we can't just look at the docs. Right? I thought you were a front-end developer. How dare you, sir? I am a front-end developer. The audacity. The audacity. Okay. And then I have the token tucked away here. And then I will generate a new one after we're done. Stop. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we'll leave this here tucked away. This is exactly what we need. All right, now is the fun part. Well, first of all, let's pull up our terminal. Let's check and see what version of Node we're on. Version 20. What's the newest version of Node? Okay, can I put you away? You're in my way. I don't think that we need this anymore. But we'll keep it handy just in case. I honestly think that we did the hardest part, which was just getting the API, period. But we'll keep Facebook and MetaDev open. Express.js. And then let's just go to the documentation. I think it's just npm install express. Let's, what's the latest version of Node? They're on 26.7. Okay, I have NVM, Node Version Manager. How to install latest Node with NVM. To install the latest version of Node using NVM, run the command nvm install node. Latest stable, switch to the new version. Okay. wait, latest stable LTS version. Highly recommended for production and general development. Let's just do this. Okay, and then nvm use node. Well, let's do nvm use LTS. So the latest stable version is 24. Okay, good. Okay, we got that part done. And then I guess npm install express, right? Why not? Okay, what's next? I honestly don't remember what to do. Let's go to the installing. Okay. Use the npm init command to create a package.json. Well, we kind of let it do that for us, right? This command prompts you for a number of things, such as the name and version of your application. Okay. So I think we just create an index.js, right? We're not using TypeScript. We kind of already did this. Package name. Is it just going to fill in what we already have here? Package name. I'm just going to call it Express Server. Version. Sure. Description. Entry point. Yep. Test command. npm run dev. Git repository. We don't have one yet. Yes. Okay. That filled everything in. Perfect. Okay. TypeScript. Let's look at Hello World. Okay, so let's ask Chad. Here's the part where I'm not sure about. Okay. Great. I have my endpoint. I have my token hidden. I just installed Express with an index.js. Does Instagram require a callback URL for me to work locally? This is the part that I think I'm a little fuzzy on. No, not for what you're doing right now. Since you already generated an access token in Meta and you're just using your Express server to call the Instagram Graph API, your local flow can simply be front end Postman, localhost 3000, your Express route, Instagram front end or Postman. Okay, your Express server can use the token from .env and make the request to Instagram. No callback URL is required for that. Okay, so I think we also have to install .env, right? But let's add a git ignore We haven't set this up as a repo yet. And then we have to make sure that this is in, and let's just for good measure, we'll do this. It's all coming back to me. So there's our git ignore, and then we'll do a .env, and I'm pretty sure we actually have to install that. Let me add my token, my top secret token that I've accidentally already exposed and will have to change afterwards, but that's okay. So, Instagram API. Instagram API. Okay. Okay. We can close that. A callback redirect URL matters when you implement an actual OAuth login flow where a user clicks something like connect Instagram. Instagram authenticates Instagram authenticates them and then redirects back to your app. And we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. You own the Instagram account. You manually generated the token and your server is consuming your own feed. Likewise, the webhook callback URL you saw in Meta is a different thing entirely. That's for Meta pushing events to your server. You don't need that just to fetch media. And that's all that we're doing here is all I want is something that hides the token and lets me put my Instagram feed on my website. So locally, you can go straight to something like import express from express import.env config. Is this like an npm thing that we have to install? I can't remember. Okay. Let's just do it. Okay, and it saved everything here for us. Oh, this is not what I called this. Hang on, let me update that. This .env isn't something that has to be, isn't a package? I can't remember. I'll ask. Close this. Yes, that's what I thought. Then, okay, we can just do this. Whoops. Actually, this is going better than I thought it would. Okay, we installed .env. And we just have to, I think today we just have to remember that we need to do that middleware, right? Which is the CORS policy and rate limiting. I've done CORS policies before. I don't have a clue how to do the rate limiting. So we're definitely going to need help with that. Okay. If you're using a modern enough Node version, you can also skip .env entirely and use Node's built-in env file support. No, we're going to do a .env. Then in index.js, I think that's already in here, right? Yep, that's in here. Okay. No, I installed .env. No, I installed .env. Okay, should we see if we can run this? npm run dev? No. Oh, npm test? No, hang on. I don't work with Node very often. I just don't. I know, that's embarrassing. Okay. Okay. How do I get this thing running? And Omri Turgay, I hope I'm saying that correctly, says, why not TypeScript? Why not vanilla JavaScript? Right back at ya. Your script section is the issue right now. Test points to a dev script that doesn't exist. Oh, oops. So your full JSON, we have to add this. Okay, I'm just gonna replace this. I know a little bit of TypeScript. I don't mean to be so I don't mean to be so snooty. I know a little bit of TypeScript, but I'm much more comfortable with vanilla JavaScript. And you know what? You're right. I should be working harder on my TypeScript. You're absolutely right, especially since we are currently using Node. Mostly on this channel, I do a lot of vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because I like to, I specifically do things where we don't need Node, we don't need a package manager because the channel is really geared towards, my audience is mostly beginners and people who are starting out in their career, or maybe you're learning front end for the first time or trying to get better at front end. So I encourage people to do vanilla because then you don't have to worry about things like Node. You can just have an index.html and a script.js, and you can immediately start building for the browser. That's the reason that I do that. Now, obviously, I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and I am wildly out of practice on anything Node related, which is not a good look. But I'm here to tell you that I recognize this. It's a bit of a gap right now. And I'm going to get back into it and we're going to start doing a bit more. I've been threatening to make members only content for a while now and do more React and TypeScript. So I fully recognize that this is TypeScript, React, setting up Node. This is all part of a modern stack. I just tend to lean into vanilla on this channel because this is the other thing, working with a lot of junior developers who just did not understand a lot of really basic vanilla stuff, like basic vanilla stuff. That's just what I decided to do on this channel. But again, it caused me to be a little out of practice. So yeah, and this is a good comment too. When you do vanilla, you know what is going on under the hood instead of React. And thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Malik says, yeah, she enjoys learning the foundational languages or parts. Once you know the basics, you can expand easier. So I do enjoy kind of knowing what's going on under the hood. I want to emphasize the fact that um, we actually understand how the internet works and how the browser works. There's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And I'm wildly out of practice with a lot of things, which is why I was like, hey, let's set up an Express app. So let's do this. All right, here we go. Okay, so I think we could just npm run start. Oh, what's going on? npm start, npm start. What is happening? Import express from express. What did I do wrong? npm start. Oh, wait a second. npm. It is npm run dev, right? We're gonna figure it out. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. The issue is just the module type mismatch. Your index.js is using ES modules, but your package.json currently says common. Oh, that's probably my fault. So we'll change this to module. There we go. Nice. Success. Okay. So now we're up and running. So now where should we be able to see this? Well, first, let's see if we can even just see this in the browser. So we should just be able to see our complete Instagram endpoint. We'll start with the browser. Cannot get. Or is it going to make me do... No, we have to put in the full thing. So it's /Instagram. You guys, we did it. We have an endpoint. We have an endpoint. So now we have a complete endpoint for all of the data that we asked for. This is so cool. Okay, so I totally I misunderstood what that callback URL was for. It was, we never needed that to run Express locally for Instagram. And I don't think we will ever need that to just for me to just grab my own stuff and display a feed on my site. This is so cool. So you know what we're going to do tomorrow is we are going to deploy this Express server to, because we have this website, right, where we have all of, which is not up to date, but I'm getting there. This is the site that we built a couple months ago. The site that I use for all of the projects that we build on this channel. We're going to deploy a URL that is api.practicelayouts.com. And I have never deployed a Node app or an Express server to DigitalOcean. I've deployed to AWS. I deployed an Express app to AWS. Did I deploy it to AWS? I don't remember. It was a couple years ago. I don't remember if I did the deployment or not, or if somebody on the web apps team did it for me. I don't remember, but we're going to do it tomorrow. So we're going to deploy a Node Express app to DigitalOcean tomorrow. I don't know what that looks like. I have no idea because I've been doing lamp stacks for such a long time. So that's going to be new for both of us. So we're going to do deployment tomorrow. That's going to include updating the DNS settings in Hover for our URL. That's going to include installing an SSL certificate. So it's https api.practicelayouts.com. And since it's a subdomain, we don't have to worry about redirecting a www. So that will be really fun tomorrow to get that done and have that set up. And then that's a place where anytime we come across a third-party API that we want to use that has an API key or a token, we're just going to pop open our Express server locally. Well, we're going to go to Postman first. We'll get the API key. We'll figure out what the endpoint is. We'll put it in Postman and confirm that we're receiving all of the data that they're going to give us. Then we come over to our Express server. We build our custom endpoint. So this tomorrow is going to be api.practicelayouts.com/Instagram, but we're going to build a couple extra endpoints here today. And then anytime in the future that we have a third-party API that we want to use, we have a place where we can hide our API key. We also need to do a course policy and rate limiting. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. Okay, so somebody's asking me a question. So Omri is saying, when you see like all the rich front-end projects, such as text editors and so on, and heavy front-end engineering, it's clear it was built via people who know vanilla and know the pro level stuff. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because all of that stuff is really easy. It's actually pretty easy to do with vanilla JavaScript. There's so much built into the vanilla JavaScript API and in the browser. And Malik is saying YouTube is constantly changing. They added the reaction emojis to the chat bar. Interesting. Can you see the emojis pop up? Do it again. I saw something under the corner. Oh, there it is. I did see it. Do it again. If you can see it, if you can do it. I saw it down here. I don't see it up here, but I can see it down here. I've got multiple windows. This window up here is not showing them, but I am seeing them. So yes, this window doesn't have the reaction, but my window does have the reaction. So thank you for that. Let's see here if I can. Yeah, it doesn't show it on this view, but that's what I saw out of the corner of my eye. So, okay, cool. So what's the next? So let's ask now about well, let's see here. I don't think we need some of this stuff. We're doing good. We're just over an hour in. We're killing it. So let's make sure that our custom endpoint is working in Postman. Want to make sure that we're documenting everything. So here's our initial Instagram response that comes directly from Instagram. I'll save this. We'll come over here and we'll do a new one, which is our localhost 3000 Instagram. Let's send this request. Yes, look at that. So now we're getting back our request and we don't have to have anything special going on here as key values, our token, anything like that. That is so cool. Okay, so we're going to call this the, I'm just going to call it the Instagram /Instagram. So we know that that's kind of that main endpoint. Okay, so the other endpoint that I want is, let's go back here to ChatGPT because it kind of gave us a hint of what it was. was it? It was right here. So let's see if we can do this. So we're going to do app get, and what do we want to call it? We'll call it images. That's really what it is, right? It's an async request. So it's a request and a response. I'm going to put this here, but that's not quite it yet. We need all of this. Hang on. So we're really returning the images, right? Images. Wait a second. That's not right. Images equals the response data filter. So we have to filter it first. And then I'm going to say images media. Well, we could still call this data. I think this is images, right? Yeah. We're getting there. So we're still asking for the initial endpoint, but we're filtering it. But I think we have to do the response first. Hang on, I'm trying to remember my async await. So async immediately returns the promise. Await resolves the promise after everything else has resolved synchronously, right? I think we have to do the response first. I don't know if I have this in the right order. Should we just try it and see? So let's just try the images endpoint. Okay, we're not quite there yet. Hang on. Give me a minute. I know I just have this in the wrong order. I think this has to come after the response. I think this has to come after the response. Then we get the data. Okay. Hang on. We're just going to ask for help. It's okay. If I wasn't doing this live, I would probably be figuring it out myself. So, okay. I know I'm doing this wrong. Yep, you're just mixing up the fetch response object with the parsed JSON. Response data doesn't exist yet. Okay, that's what I thought. So this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. Oh, we do it last, and then we get the images. Got it. I knew I had this in the wrong order. That doesn't look right either. I think I'm still doing this wrong. Response. Oh, right here. Hang on. Response, await, fetch URL. Okay, there we go. So now we have, I had a typo. I know I did. Okay, so now we have the perfect. So this means that we can I love this. This is so cool. Why did I wait so long to do this? Okay. So now we have our caption, the URL to the image. We have the link back to the actual post. We have the ISO timestamp. Yeah, so now I have this. I'm glad we're doing this a week out because now I have to think about the UI and how I want this to look because for everything that we've been doing, I just build like a little grid with stock photos. I never actually style out what any of this is supposed to look like or what what I think this should do. And I know a lot of UIs when they display real Instagram grids have like an overlay, but that's not super accessible. So I have to think about that this week and how I want to do this. And this is incentive to post more to Instagram because I tend to post reels a lot more. Look, I only have, why does this only go back to September 2025? Okay, so that's another. So there must be some sort of pagination. Okay. Which means we probably need to look at our at Postman because I think there is pagination. So let's duplicate this tab and we'll save this as going to be images. Save. Yeah, it only returns the last 6 images. So here's our initial response. Here's the data. It says paging. I'm assuming this is pagination. But how many? I don't know how many. Well, there's not that many. Look how many lines it takes up. So it's not really showing the pagination. Okay, so that's the next thing we need to figure out is how do we get back more information? Okay. Okay, everything is working. There is clearly pagination. I'm only getting the last 6 images. Yep. So right here, here's the pagination. Instagram is paginating the media response. So you're only seeing the first page. The response should include something like, you have 2 options. First, try increasing the page size with limit. URL search params set limit equal to 25. So your request becomes, although, okay, let's think about this though. Do we need more than 6? I don't, maybe we need 9 because we didn't start, we started writing a little bit of CSS last weekend, but um the Instagram, the grid that was at the bottom of the page in the footer was only 6 across, right? But there was also an Instagram grid in the sidebar, which was a 3x3. So that's 9 images. And do we really need to request 25 images? Because aren't we just, the feed will refresh as I continue to post to Instagram. And that's the point, that you're seeing the most recent images on Instagram. And then there's a link back to my Instagram. So, but we can try this too. If anything, I would like 9 so I can fill out that grid. But honestly, even if it's just 6, I think that would be okay. Because we could do a 2x3 grid in the sidebar. We could do, so let's see here. Yeah, that may be enough for your immediate feed. Go back here. But if you want the endpoint to reliably return, say, the latest 12 images, regardless of videos or carousels mixed into the feed, then you eventually want to follow pagination until you connect enough image items. Something like URL search params set a limit of 25. While the URL and the image's length are greater than 12, then fetch all of the images. Images push page images, URL, data, paging, next. So I don't think we need to do a next. This means give me the latest 12 actual images instead of give me page 1 from Instagram and then hope page 1 happens to contain enough images. Oh, probably because this, if it returns 25, it's 25 of anything, not guaranteed images, which is why it's suggesting here that we do a while loop. So while the URL exists and there are at least 12 images, so 12 greater than 12, fetch the URL, filter by media type, create a new, this is push, so this is create a new array, right, of images. The URL equals the data paging next. So if the URL, okay, the URL is equal to the data if there is paging and if there's a next endpoint or next object. If yes, return the new URL data paging next, otherwise null. And then slice the first 12 images. Okay, I'm good with this. And 12 is a reasonable amount. So let's do this. It's like all I really need. Then we'll jump into the cores and the rate limiting. So ideally, we're going to see 12 things get returned, right? Hang on, this is the initial response here. Yeah. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. There's all 12. Perfect. That's all I want. So simple. Okay. So we'll save this. So now we have our initial Instagram response. We have our hidden, masked, whatever you call it, complete response. So everything untouched, unblemished. And now we have just our images. And we can come back and build anything from this. If we decide later that we want an endpoint with just our reels, we can do that. Just carousels, we can do that. So, but right now, all I wanted was this images endpoint. So tomorrow, this is going to be api.practicelayouts.com/images. Beautiful. Okay. So what's the other thing that we need here? We need perfect. That's giving me 12 images. That's all I need. That's all I need. Next, we need a course policy and rate limiting. This will be deployed to DigitalOcean with a URL of, it'll be https api.practicelayouts.com. This will be deployed tomorrow, but obviously I don't want anyone else to be able to use it. Okay, one moment. Okay, so course and rate limiting are the next two things I'd add, with one important distinction. Course prevents other websites from using your API from browser JavaScript. It does not make the endpoint private, right? Someone can still hit that URL with Postman, curl, or their own server. For what you're building, though, that may be completely fine. Your Instagram token stays secret on the server, and the images response contains only public Instagram data anyway. The goal is really to prevent your DigitalOcean server from becoming somebody else's free Instagram proxy. As if somebody, I mean, I know that that is extremely unlikely, but I think it's a best practice, right? So we're going to install cores and express rate limit, and then we will add these things. We're going to allow origins. So why are we doing this if we have a subdomain? We'll have to ask about that. Keep your local host origins while developing. You can remove them from production later if you want. Rate limiting. I'd put a fairly conservative limit on the Instagram route. Okay. 100 requests per IP every 15 minutes is already way more than a normal visitor needs for a page containing an Instagram feed. I'd actually add one more thing, cache the Instagram response. I am totally fine with that too. There is zero reason for every page view on your website to make a fresh Instagram API request. Your feed isn't changing every 30 seconds. I don't think I've posted an actual picture to Instagram since May. So I tend to post more reels, and even then I don't post that much. There is zero reason for every page view on your website to make a fresh Instagram API request. Your feed isn't changing every 30 seconds. Even a simple in-memory cache would dramatically reduce your exposure to both abuse and meta rate limits. Now, 500 visitors could theoretically hit your endpoint while your server only contacts Instagram once every 15 minutes. I don't want anyone else to use it. There's a subtle front-end reality here. If practice layouts calls api.practicelayouts.com/images from browser JavaScript, you cannot put a secret API key in that JavaScript. Anything shipped to the browser is public. Okay, yeah, I get it. So I would not bother creating something like authorization bearer super secret key for your front end. The secret would just disappear, would just appear in DevTools. I know. Instead, for this particular endpoint, I'd use Core's allowlist. I know that's what I asked for. Rate limited caching, expose only the data your front end needs. That is a very reasonable security model for a read-only endpoint containing data. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's why I asked for Cores. Right. Yes, you did. You over-explained it. Although with me, sometimes over-explaining helps. Okay. Great. How do See, maybe I'm thinking now that maybe it's a good idea to start using codecs. How do I structure this for the additional stuff? So I don't think we need this anymore. Zoom out here a little bit. Because I don't think we just throw everything in index.js, right? What additional files do I need? Okay, good. I'd keep this small and boring. You don't need a huge express architecture for one API. I'd structure it like this. So we've got routes, Instagram.js, services, Instagram.js, middleware, cores, and rate limit, .env. Okay, so let's do this. Put these side by side. No, actually, that's not what I wanted. So we need routes. We need services. We need middleware. And I think that's it. So in our routes, we need an Instagram.js. In our services, we need an Instagram.js. And then in our middleware, we need a course.js and a rate limit.js. Okay. That gives you separation without turning a tiny API into a framework. Your index.js becomes mostly set up. Okay, so let's go back here. So here's this. So I think this and this go into services or routes. Then the middleware is this. The rate limit is this. The services, and then I'd put all the actual Instagram fetching logic in services, which is this. Let's go back to the setup. Right here, app use Instagram and then Instagram limiter and Instagram router. Got it. So we're creating a function Instagram, get Instagram media. And then this is the route. So here's okay, but it changed this. No. Okay. Well, let's just start boldly copying and pasting. So there's index.js. Here's the cores. Here's the rate limit. Here's the Instagram services. Here's the Instagram routes. Stop. So why are you having a hard time? Oh, I don't think I installed the middleware. So let's turn this off. So we'll install cores. Install rate limit. I think those are the only two. Now let's try it. Okay. Okay, so our endpoint's not working. Where's Postman? Did it change something? What about the routes? Okay, so is this one working? Yep, so this one's working. So just I think the images endpoint changed. It's here, images. So let's do this. Let's get this up to GitHub because this is now big enough where we can just share the repo with ChatGPT and say, hey, we just glance at this and tell me what's missing. Do I need to add it here? It's in, see, I'm not sure. It's here. I don't need the services. It's in the, is it /Instagram/images? Yeah, that's what it was. So it changed the endpoint. So now it's Instagram images. Okay, that's fine. We figured it out. But let's still go ahead and push this up to GitHub. I haven't started the repo yet, so let's do that now. We're at a very good place. We're at a very good place. Repositories. This is exactly what I wanted to get done today. Exactly. So we'll call this our Express server. Yeah. And then turn this off. So we'll say git init, git add, git commit, initial commit. Let's grab this. All right. And then let's share this. Okay, everything seems to be working. Don't need this. Okay, the index. Oh, node modules. I forgot to add node modules. Hang on, we can do that. And we just have to remove it from the cache. Updating git ignore. I don't remember how to do it. Git remove folder from cache. I think I have to Google this at least 100 times a year. Git remove cached node modules. Git, hang on. Git remove cached node modules. Git push origin main. Hang on. Okay, so now at least, so now I think we just have to do I don't want to delete node modules. I just want to remove it from the cache. Is that what I did? I thought that's what I did. Remove from the cache. To remove a folder from Git cache without deleting it from your local computer. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? We have to reinstall node modules. Removing from cache. So we're still good. It's still there. Git push origin main. Such a pain in the ass when I forget to do my git ignore. There we go. Now node modules is gone. Okay. So Ratify, I'm so sorry, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, is asking, what exactly are you looking for? Oh, so I had forgotten to add node modules to git ignore. Classic. Classic Angela, forgetting to add node modules to git ignore. I bet I have to Google git remove from cache at least once or twice a week. I never remember how to do it, and I have to do it all the time because I am constantly forgetting to set up put everything I need to in my git ignore. So that's what I was trying to do. But we did it. We figured it out. So now our .env folder is git ignore. Our node modules is git ignore. That's perfect. Okay, let's have it check one more time. Oh, also classic that I am not simply scrolling down, but hey, we figured it out. Okay, done and committed. Yeah, so tomorrow is all deployment. This is absolutely perfect. We're at an hour and 54 minutes-ish. This is perfect for one day for getting this done. So now next week we have a working Instagram API that we can start using on any landing page, any build that we do that has it as part of the mockup instead of just putting in static photos. And I think that that is pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm just thinking about local development and how we want to deal with that. Because here's what I don't want to do. Here's what I don't want to do. We'll have to come up with like a system. So here's our middleware. So here's our rate limit. Here's our CORS policy. So this is going to be deployed to api.practicelayouts.com. So it doesn't need to go to www because that's a redirect, right? For now, oh, and I thought I fixed this. Prettier is, okay, I'll figure that out later. So for now, we do need local host. What's our, let's just look at what we started building last week, because that's really what we need it for. So last week we started working on, what was the name of our project? It's the Soho landing page. It's really the URL for live server, right? It's not styled yet. So this is it. So this is the URL. And I don't think we need the index.url. So it's really 127 port 5500. We can leave these in for now. So I think if we were working locally, I think if we were working locally, our allowed origins list, I actually think that if we're working locally, as long as we have the Express server running, see, it just depends. Once we deploy it, do we want to use api.practicelayouts.com or do we want to have it running locally? I'll have to think about that. It's not generally a good idea, but we have a CORS plugin. We have a CORS policy plugin, which honestly, that's basically why you have that for local development. I have this right here. I have the allow CORS plugin. So we don't need to allow any of these local. So right now I'm going to say that the only allowed origins is practice layouts, even though we're not using that right now. For local development, we are not going to whitelist any local host or 127 or port 5500 URLs. We will use the CORS browser extension because I have never once worked with a backend developer who put localhost on the whitelist. It's just not how you do it, right? Yeah, so that'll be a good best practice. So if you're doing this for yourself, you're really going to want this browser extension. It's called, let's see here. I think it's just called Coors. This is like the logo. Browser extension Coors, and this is Chrome. Oh, it's the allow Coors, access control allow origin. That's what it is. It's a browser extension. Because when I was a developer at St. Thomas and people were building APIs, our backend teams were building all kinds of APIs, mostly from Salesforce, but you work locally and none of those would work locally. They never had the headers to work locally. So, and they wouldn't add localhost. I remember when I was a new developer asking, and they were like, no. So I figured out I could use a browser extension, and that's how you get past that. And then you don't have to whitelist localhost. So, okay, that works. That's going to solve our problem. And then every time we decide to use this on a new site that is being deployed, we have to remember to add the URL of that site to the list. So what we may want to do is also add the GitHub pages URLs. Yeah, so we're going to have to do both things. So we're going to need a really solid deployment, which means tomorrow we not only need to deploy this, set up the DNS settings, install the SSL certificate, but we are going to need a GitHub action because we're going to need a smooth deployment process, something that just makes it really easy to add to the allowed origins list, because we're going to want to see our feed on the GitHub pages in addition to when we deploy it towards the end. So, okay, that's good to know. That's good to think about for tomorrow. We're exactly at the 2-hour mark. What do we think? We did it. I've been talking about this for 2 years. I've literally been talking about this since the day that I started streaming, that I should do this. So let's commit this. Make sure it's cut up. Updating Coors allow list. Nice. And we're good to go for today. We did it. I love it. What do we think? Malik says good work. Thank you, Malik. Malik Robinson and Monique Robinson were the mods in the chat. Thank you so much to everybody who came to hang out with me today. This was super fun. I enjoyed it. Do me a favor, would you be so kind as to like this video, subscribe if you're new here. I'm here every Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I often drop in during the week and just do extra streams as I have things that I like to work on. I've also been going live on LinkedIn. I have started going live on Thursdays at noon, and that's Central Standard Time. We just did our second LinkedIn Live this past week. It was super fun. They're more like AI focused. They're more like presentation focused. They're about an hour long, a little more structured. But yeah, that was super fun. And then the edited version of that video got posted yesterday. So it was about using codecs and AI to update content and image alt text on a portfolio website. Because here's the thing. In my portfolio, I don't put my client work or any work for an employer, anything like that. I just put the work that I do on this channel while I'm streaming. And it often has a lot of lorem ipsum. I forget to fill in the alt text, things like that. So I'm starting to use AI to go through and audit past projects, help clean up content, images, accessibility issues, just do kind of like good QA pass. It's very thorough. It's giving me long lists of things to look at. But that's what we did this past Thursday. That's what yesterday's video is about. If you are interested in seeing that process, it's tightly edited. I think the live stream on LinkedIn on Thursday was like well over an hour. It was almost 90 minutes. And I got that edited down to about 32 minutes, something like that. So it's a very tightly edited video, very focused on how you could use Codex to, if you have portfolio sites filled with lorem ipsum or missing placeholder text, getting that stuff updated. So there's that. Yeah, and also follow me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with people over there. Same with Instagram. My LinkedIn and my Instagram and my GitHub, everything is linked down in the description. If you want to follow me, connect with me there, I'm happy to do so. What do we think? This is exciting. Okay, so I would say that I leaned heavily into ChatGPT giving me the code because I didn't feel like I had time to dawdle. If I wasn't live streaming, I would have I feel like I have to justify my decision making today, which is that if I hadn't been live streaming, I would have spent more time actually writing the JavaScript. So forgive me for that. I felt like there was some urgency to just keep things moving. But clearly, if we're going to continue to do this, we need to get comfortable writing those endpoints, writing the JavaScript for the filtering, and just getting more comfortable with this in general. Something that I've learned as I've learned more JavaScript the last 6 months or so is how much I love working with data. Like, I really love working with data, and I want to get better at it. So this is a perfect excuse to do that. Okay. Everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Come back tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will get this thing deployed. Have a good one. Bye-bye.